Welcome back to MMA Heat. I am Karyn Bryant. Still to come on the program, we'll go to the grand opening of King's MMA and see Mayhem Miller get his black belt. We'll also spend some time with Ray Sefo. But right now, we want to introduce you to Ryan Couture. He is a former wrestler who has made his pro debut in Strikeforce, lodging a win, by the way. He is, of course, Randy Couture's son, but he is making his own name. We spent some time with him out at Xtreme Couture, and even though the guy was on a drip for a staph infection, he was tough enough to answer my hard-hitting questions about his future in MMA. Take a look. It's kind of a tricky thing in a way because people have high expectations for you, and I feel like you have to just keep reminding people, guys, I'm just starting, right?
I do way too many interviews where people start talking about title fights and who do you want to fight, like what's the name opponent do you want? I'm like, dude, I've got one fight. I don't, I'm a long way from fighting anybody you've heard of, I think. So,
right.
Just got to keep plugging away, and eventually I'll get to that point.
How does it feel, though, knowing that there is a certain level of expectation on you because of your pedigree?
It's good. It's something. It's a challenge to rise to, and something to live up to, and it motivates me. And it's definitely good in a lot more ways than it's bad.
I would think so. Well, and the great thing is, too, is everybody likes your dad. It's not like your dad's that tool that everybody hopes, to take down someday. He's like, the guy is awesome. So it's kind of a great thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot easier having people always come up talking about how much they love him than it would be if they wanted to talk about what a dick he is. Or,
And I know you've said already that you don't necessarily have a whole list yet of who you want to fight, but how often do you want to fight? I mean, how do you see the ideal progression for you to grow as a fighter and get enough action each year and, really build?
I feel like for me about the fastest pace I can push is roughly once every 3 months. I can do a couple closer together, but then I need a longer break between to kind of decompress. Stressing about diet and training twice a day, I find I get burned out if I try and do them too close together. So to stay on the track I want to be on and to perform at my best, I think once every 3 months is going to be the best schedule for me to keep.
I was here earlier, and the great thing about this gym is it's professionals and average Joes, but we came in and we're talking to Frank Trigg, and then meanwhile you're like, oh, what's up, Vitor Belfort? Oh, what's that? Just great. Maynard walking by too. Oh, and look, it's kind of great. It seems like a very welcoming and comfortable place for professionals.
Absolutely, yeah. I think a lot of fighters feel comfortable here, and they know they're going to get quality training, and this is where all the training partners are, so I think that's why so many guys flock here, is because we have such a solid core team. Yeah.
I'm curious, too, what the vibe changes when your dad is preparing for a fight. Is it, just more intense here, or does he almost loosen up more and embrace everybody? How does that work when he's training for a fight?
Well, the biggest difference is that he's here all the time. You really rarely see him in the gym when he doesn't have a fight because he travels so much. He's got so many other commitments. But the intensity definitely goes up. I think everybody kind of rises to the occasion, whether they mean to or not. I think it's even a subconscious thing, but everybody feels like they've got to step it up because the boss is in here, and everybody knows what his work ethic is like, and that he's not going to tolerate any slacking.
Our show is called MMA Heat, and heart, endurance, aggression, and technique, we think are the four primary elements there that a fighter's got to have.
Absolutely.
We talk a lot about heart, especially, though, because it's one of those things I wonder if you can teach it. Do you believe you can teach heart, or do you?
I think there are things you can do in the gym and in training to kind of force yourself incrementally to improve that mental toughness, which I think is really sort of this equivalent to heart, to what people call heart. The more you push yourself past the point where you thought you would have to quit or where you feel like breaking, the stronger you get, and the further you'll be able to push yourself next time. So that's the hardest thing to develop. And some people are naturally just built that way. Other people really have to work for it. But I do think it's something that you can improve.
But with your dad, I would think it's probably been instilled. How could you couldn't not know heart, having just grown up watching him fight and all that?
I feel like coming from a wrestling background too, that's coaches. Every wrestling coach I ever had harped on that, and every day in practice they were yelling mental toughness and you're not quitting, and we're going to do this many more reps or this many more sprints, and that every practice was geared towards just pushing yourself past the point where you wanted to quit. And I think that mindset, that wrestler mindset, is a lot of what goes into it. I think that's where he got it, and so growing up around it and then experiencing it myself as a competitor, I definitely feel like that's been a huge benefit to me.
MMA endurance right there with the Couture name. Now, Ryan was a wrestler and a math major in college, so if you need to know anything about takedowns or differential calculus, he is your man. And by the way, Rich Franklin used to be a math teacher, so that's two guys already who can both kick some serious butt and tutor you if you need the help. So stay with us. We've got a lot more coming your way. You will see Jason Mayhem Miller get his black belt.